And welcome to the Deuce podcast. I am Brad.
And I'm Jeremy.
Jeremy, this is episode 169. Ooh. We've been gone a while.
Yes.
But we're back with a vengeance. And we are doing Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Because here we go again with our podcast after we've been off for a couple of weeks.
It's Super Bowl Sunday, so we figured what better way to celebrate that than with the musical, jukebox musical of ABBA songs.
Yes, correct. No. And this is the sequel to the Mamma Mia, the hit from 2008. This is 10 years later. It's 2018. The only person really not from the first movie is Meryl Streep, but she does show up at the end.
Yeah.
All of her dialogue is sung. Yeah.
So she's technically in it.
So she's in it, but she's like a cameo.
Yeah. And you see pictures of her a lot.
Yes. This is both a prequel and a sequel to the original movie.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. Or, as some people like to put it, The Godfather Part 2 of musicals. Right?
Yes.
No, it's not. Not even close.
It totally is, though.
No.
Okay, maybe not.
No. I guess probably because both of them had a character named Fernando, probably, in both of them.
It could be.
I'm just making that up. I don't know if Godfather had it. A couple actors who are joining the cast this time around. Andy Garcia as Fernando. And Cher as the grandmother. Playing the grandmother who is, 5 years older than Meryl Streep?
3.
3? I don't know. They were in Silkwood together.
And wasn't Andy Garcia in Godfather?
I think you're getting confused with every other actor that was probably supposed to be in Godfather. Was he in Godfather 3?
Vincenzo Corleone.
Was he?
Godfather 3.
Godfather 3. See, I told you. Yeah. I think he was in 3, right? the great one with Sofia Coppola.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. But we are doing Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. And do we have a plot synopsis, Jeremy?
We do. In this musical...
No, you're going to have to sing it.
In this musical romantic comedy, a woman grapples with running her mother's villa. I'm done.
Okay. It's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. While also expecting her first child.
Mm-hmm.
And worries that she won't be able to handle everything on her own. So she enlists 2 of her mother's friends for assurance, help, and guidance. Along the way, she learns more about her mother's past, and now faces a surprise visit from someone she never met. Her own grandmother. Starring Amanda Seyfried, Meryl Streep, Pierce Brosnan, Colin Firth, Stellan Skarsgård, and Christine Baranski. And written and directed by Ol Parker.
Right, and Richard Curtis wrote this movie as well, who wrote Notting Hill, Bridget Jones movies, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, About Time, Yesterday. So there's a big kind of romantic comedy guru, you would say.
Yeah.
The tagline for this is Discover How It All Began. Kind of, generic. I guess, says about half the movie, because half the movie is discovering how it all begins. So we do see younger versions of our favorite characters, and we will get into that. And we see the present day, how she's opening up the hotel, or reopening the hotel without her mom, because she had died a year before.
Yeah, they just casually say she died the year before. I don't even think they talk about how.
No. I don't think they do. I don't think so.
No, they just kind of dance around.
No.
It.
A lot, like I said, this is 10 years later from the first movie. There's a lot of ancient Greece, and when I mean ancient Greece in this movie, I do mean Ben Gay was probably robbed on a lot of the actors. But go ahead. What were you going to say, Jeremy?
Okay, so I thought it was really inconsistent. I thought at some points it said it was 5 years later, and others said it was 10.
I'm talking about the movie release.
Right, but I thought the timeline in the movie was off, too.
Oh, it probably is.
I thought they changed it a couple times.
This movie is both problematic and great at the same time. Like, we will get into it, but it is... both hand-fisted and wonderfully, like, cheesy at the same... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
like it is infectious, but you are going, why? A lot while you're watching the movie. Maybe that's just me, but that's kind of what I was saying.
No, I agree.
But you're also, I mean, it's also fun. It sets out to have fun, and that's what it kind of accomplishes, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Where do you want to start with this? Should we start at the beginning? She's opening up the hotel, and she's sending out invitations to her three dads, which is a sitcom that NBC passed on in the reboot to My Two Dads.
Yeah, the spinoff.
My Three Dads in Ancient Greece.
In Golden Palace.
They run a hotel in Greece.
You know, yeah.
With Pierce Brosnan, and it's quite interesting, and she's putting together everything. Andy Garcia is there helping her out, and she goes, "Oh, I just wish she was here." And of course, we're talking about Meryl Streep's character, and then we start a flashback. Right?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where she was at first, and then I was like,
"Oh yeah,
shit.
You didn't know that she wasn't in this movie that much."
Yeah,
I knew because I've read things before when this movie originally came out that, you know, the big draw was going to be Cher.
Yeah, well, I knew that.
You know what I mean? And so Meryl Streep wasn't in it that much. She did want to sing some ABBA song, but it didn't fit with the plot or something.
Because Fernando was a big hit of theirs, but they couldn't really fit it in anywhere.
No, I'm not talking about Cher. I'm talking about Meryl. But yes, that is kind of hand-fisted with the whole Fernando thing.
Yeah, it is.
Which we'll get to. But we start doing a flashback with Lily James playing Meryl Streep's character. I think she is the one to watch in this movie.
Yeah, agreed.
I think this is where her star starts to rise. Mm-hmm. Lily James, you might know right now, is starring in the Pam and Tommy show on Hulu. Yeah, where she plays Pamela Anderson. She's been in other things too, though.
Yeah, right? She was Cinderella in the Cinderella remake. She was in Sense and Sensibility and Zombies. Or Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, yes.
Yeah. She's been in a lot of things lately.
Yeah, lately, like, she seems to be kind of that girl on the rise. And rightfully so. I think that she is the one kind of carrying the movie for me, especially the flashbacks are concerned. If it wasn't her, I would be falling asleep every time we do a flashback.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, I'm not too impressed by... I'm impressed by the singing with the guys. I'm not really impressed by the acting wise of the three guys in the flashbacks.
Yes, agreed.
That represent the dads.
Agreed.
I don't know about you, but...
No. The acting is pretty... Well, okay, so here's why it's problematic to me is I think the guy who plays Pierce Brosnan is probably the easiest of all of them, mainly because all he has to do is just act normal and milquetoast to be Pierce Brosnan. Because he's just being charming Irish.
He has to be
British,
kind of a little charming.
Yeah. And I think the kid
pulls there's
that
a dramatic
off.
There's that dramatic scene where she finds out that he's engaged and whatnot, so you need a little bit of an actor.
Yeah. And I was fine with him.
Yeah,
too.
no, he's fine.
The other two, the guy who plays the younger Colin Firth and the guy who plays the younger Skarsgård. He is those two guys, I feel like their singing is fine, and like when they've done musical stuff, like that was okay. It was
the guy that played Colin Firth really bothered me.
Yeah, because it was like he was trying to do almost like both of them. They were trying to do caricatures of their older versions. And so the kid who was like Colin Firth was like, like trying to like, and I'm just like, nope, don't do it.
And you were like, King's Speech, come on, let's spit it out.
And the other guy was like, hello, I'm Skarsgård. Like,
hello, are you Loki?
He did some weird accent that faded in and out. And I was just like,
his accent did fade in and out. There was moments where I was like, do these guys have accents?
I don't even know. I don't even know if that kid was... if he was from the country or not.
No, and honestly, when I read the bios of all the three guys, the guys that played the Skarsgård, he did the least. He's done the least amount of things, which is not saying much. I mean, you could still be a good actor, not have done a lot, but it kind of shows a little bit here. And he also doesn't really have a lot. I mean, he sails a boat, in the movie,
and he catches
and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and he woos her. I mean, there's really nothing. At least like the first character has to be that charmingness. And kind of that, bother me, with the whole, kind of like Colin Farrell, or not Colin Farrell, Hugh, not Hugh Laurie. What's his name? I'm going through all my Hughs. 4 Weddings and a Funeral guy.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of...
Because I kept going in my head, Hugh Laurie, no. Hugh Dancy, no. Then I was like, Hugh Downs, old? No. Why would it be him? I was like,
oh my God.
I know.
And I was just thinking of him earlier.
Paddington, too.
I'm charmingly befuddled. I'm Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant. Yes. And so he has to have that kind of like character, right? So at least he has that to build on. But like the Skarsgård kid, I'm just like, there's really nothing, there's no dramatic moment with you.
Yeah.
That I'm really... that invested with.
Yeah.
But it's also like you're Skarsgård, so who cares?
But also like Skarsgård is the most boring of the three dads too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
so cares? It was fine.
Who cares? You know what I mean? Like you're gonna start the multiverse anyway. Just get over it and be all like, here you go, Loki. But it's nothing. There's really there's nothing. I don't know. Like we could have interchanged that actor in the first movie with someone else.
Yeah. And
I could have been like, oh, yeah, okay. I honestly, before we started this movie, went, okay, Colin Firth. Yeah. Pierce Brosnan. And then I went, who's the third dad?
Yeah.
I always have to remember the third dad.
I remembered because I also thought it was weird the first time around. Like I always
it is weird the first time around. It is very weird the first time around.
I think...
But this does have Richard Curtis's blueprints all over it.
Yeah, it does.
Especially with the whole prequel, like the flashback.
Yeah.
Sometimes that got confusing to me.
Yes, because they cut quick.
They cut quick, and there was no way that the camera or the way it was shot was different.
Yes.
To tell me that this was the past.
Right.
Right? We're just in the restaurant. And I'm like, are we still in the restaurant now, or everything looked the same?
I think the part of where I had a problem with that too was because from like a narrative standpoint, we're flashing back and looking at that, the mother's past, at Donna's past, but we don't know why we're looking at it, and then when Amanda Seyfried like makes reference to it, or she's like, I feel like I'm connected to my mom because of all of this. Mm-hmm. Like, is she being told the story? Has she been told it before? I don't understand from a narrative perspective where the two connect, really.
Right. Like, if someone's telling her the story.
Yes.
That's different, but no one's telling her the story. It's just a story that's being told to us and not necessarily to the characters.
Right.
Right.
And that's...
So I agree with you.
Yeah, that's part of what I wanted was, like, as, like, people are reminiscing about the mother and telling her parts of the story that are coming together. Mm. Like, I could understand that more. And I actually think it could flow better because a lot of the characters don't cross over. Like, you don't have the three dads overlapping with the two best friends. And so, like, you could tell their part separately.
What do you mean?
Well, like when she's with young Colin Firth's character.
Yeah, but the friends see Pierce Brosnan's younger character.
But they just see him. They don't really like...
They try to interact with him.
Right, but they don't in context of Donna.
Right, correct.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like...
Oh, then why is that part of the story?
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and so like...
That's why it gets a little weird.
Yeah, but like I could see...
Unless Donna was there to know she wasn't.
Well, and that would be interesting. Like, see, I could have gone with like... She's piecing together the story. And then she realizes, like, when Christine Baranski's character, if she was like, oh, and then, oh, the most beautiful guy came down and blah, 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 blah. And then she realizes, wait a minute, was that, you know, Pierce Brosnan? And then goes talks to him and she's like, you did come back for her or something like that. You know, basically having it where people are telling her the story, that from a narrative standpoint seems stronger to me than just like two stories that aren't intersecting. Somehow magically they do though, because like things are you know, like it's just like I didn't get the purpose of the flashback piece of it.
Well, I mean, there was a moment with the flashback where she sees what's going to eventually be the hotel.
Yes,
and she goes through that, and then it's cross cut with nowadays, which was nice.
Yes,
which I was giggling, and I thought, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, it was a cool.
But that was me, all Lily James.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, very much so.
And it wasn't anyone else. Like I was all like, I don't really care about the future. I just was like, oh yeah, this is fun because she's sliding down the banister that Meryl did.
Yeah.
Which everyone remembers, and it breaks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because it's old, and she's like, oh no, and she looks back, and there it is, and I'm like, okay, that's funny, and it's a throwback.
Yeah.
And so that's nice. But again, it's, or do you want to be a prequel? Do you want to be a sequel? Like, you got to pick a lane and really go with it.
Yes.
It seems like we were either relying too heavy on the prequel part sometimes, or the sequel part.
Yes.
And the two didn't combine well enough in the end to gratify the finale.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
You know, okay, so, and I kind of agree with you where it's like, figure out what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I don't really think they could pick one or the other. And my reasoning is, I don't think either part of it is strong enough to stand on its own. Like the flashback stuff, we kind of already knew because, you know, presumably the audience has seen Mamma Mia. The stuff after that, who gives a shit? Like, I really don't care about Amanda Seyfried and like these people on her own. Like, her, if you took out the flashback stuff, the story in the present is
not
just
even weak. Even Baranski and Walters.
Yeah,
I don't even care about their characters, and it's not that I don't care about them because they're bad. I just am like, I'm done with them, right? Like, there's nothing really there for them to be there except for the grand opening.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So there's really no motivation for them without Meryl Streep's character being there.
Yes. Well, and
to really have them.
Well, and even with the, like, Pierce Brosnan was okay because he was there the whole time, and he was there the whole time,
though. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, he did contribute. I did like where, so they had scenes because they said, oh, the other two dads aren't going to be here. Harry and Bill aren't going to be here. And, he goes, they have scenes where Harry's in Japan at like a merger, like at some sort of contract meeting, and he's like, you know what? She's the best thing in my life. I have something I gotta go do, and like goes to his daughter. And Bill kind of does the same thing where like he has his
he's in like Sweden.
Yeah, he has his twin brother accept an award for him, which is nonsense. Yeah, it's just him in a fat suit,
right?
You know. But his twin brother...
We're assuming it's Nobel.
Yeah.
You know, Peace Prize.
Yeah, something. Yeah. But he has him accepting an award, and he, like, runs out to go... I think it's, like, a literary award or something. But he has him, like, run out, and he's like...
They have Nobel literary...
Yeah, he's like, my brother says I have to do this and this. Or he's right. You know, I have to go take care of this. And so he, like, runs out. And I was like... Why didn't we have more scenes about, like, why they weren't going and then the eventual, like, coming around to the idea they had to be there? But I could have, like, to me, it would have made sense if they were, like, if they were remembering back to Donna and being like, I owe it to her and maybe our daughter to be there. So
the flashbacks shouldn't just be through the daughter. They should be through everyone.
I don't know.
Maybe that would.
It depends, but they needed to be tied to
that
the
might
narrative.
have been too clunky for me.
They needed to be tied to the narrative to do something for me.
Well, especially because it's almost like they're cameos too.
Yeah,
because it happens close to the end of the movie.
Yeah, and when they do show up, it's just like,
and it's almost an afterthought.
Yeah,
too. So, the music in this, again. It's all ABBA because it's an ABBA jukebox musical, obviously. I don't know why her whole life, including her mom's life, is set to the soundtrack of ABBA. Yeah. I don't know what happened and why she has that, but that's just the way it is with these movies. Yeah. This movie has less of what we know of hits of ABBA.
Yeah.
And we have the same... The songs that we do know are repeats from the first movie.
Yep.
Which are kind of annoying to me because I don't think there's enough ABBA music that was so great that we needed a sequel.
Yeah.
And they want to make a third one. And again, there's not enough ABBA songs for me to acknowledge that there should be...
Yeah.
A third one.
At this point, they're just going to be reading...
ABBA has new music.
Yeah.
But what, you're going to have new music? Yeah. No one wants to hear that, right?
Yeah.
Not after 34 years.
At this point, I guess it seems fitting to me that a movie that features Amanda Seyfried would be playing B-sides from ABBA albums.
That makes sense to me,
it's
right?
a very B-side kind of movie.
It's a very B-side kind of movie, but there's a charm to this movie, but I'm also just make it prequel.
Yeah.
I'm almost make it prequel then, and let's get into the lives of these characters beforehand, and then tie that in at the end with this grand opening and having all these people.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with that, and they all have cameos, because honestly, I don't know, I just wanted more Lily James in this movie.
Yeah. Well, why couldn't she have... I don't know why she couldn't have dealt with Cher, her mother, in the past.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, and have that resolution, because it's also kind of like Cher never resolves that with her, apparently. I don't know, because her mom dies, and we don't know what the relationship is.
And now she's a great-grandma.
Yeah, and now she's like...
What?
Hey, babe, I'm showing up. And so she
I wasn't invited. Those are the best parties.
Kind of parties.
Why does Cher sound like Colonel Sanders to you?
Is that what I
Your Cher impression is 11 herbs and spices, everyone.
Spices, babe.
Oh, yeah. If I could turn back my finger licking. Yum.
What? That's how Colonel Sanders sounds to you?
But that's how your Cher sounds.
Oh, it does not.
Oh, it does.
My 11 herbs and spices.
Yum.
Oh,
gypsies, tramps, and thieves. Drumsticks and thieves. Anyway. But there is the ridiculousness of this movie, though, right? Where it does come to full capacity when Cher comes zooming in her helicopter, like Apocalypse Now style. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, oh my god! And then she gets off if she's really that famous of a singer, not Cher, but her character, she gets off that helicopter. Everyone's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah,
everyone's like, "What?"
Yeah,
and she's like, "You're not invited." And they're like, "Those are the best kind of parties." And then everyone's like, "What?"
Well,
everyone just stands there like if she's the biggest, one of the biggest singers in the world, which she claims to be. Wouldn't everyone be like, "Oh my god, look who it is"?
Well, okay, so this is what would have made sense to me. Amanda Seyfried mails the invitation, and somebody's like, "Wow, she's a big deal," and she goes, "Don't worry, she's not going to come anyway. She never comes to these things."
Yeah.
Then when Sky, Amanda Seyfried's boyfriend, played by Dominic Cooper, comes back, then like
why did we need that?
I could see him being like, I brought a surprise, and he brings the grandmother. Like that made more sense to me, that she'd be like, I wouldn't miss this. He told me, I should be here and whatever.
That drama was unnecessary, just having him away.
Yeah.
It was pointless.
Yeah.
Because it was resolved right away when he came.
Yeah, they never had
Sky! They never had that much of like, they had a little tiff or argument.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. But
we argue about each other's Colonel Sanders, impressions all the time.
Well, yeah, because you think yours sounds like Cher.
And yours sounds like Cher.
No, but so they, this is so...
11 herbs and spices, baby. 11 herbs and spices, baby. If I could turn back time, I get a whole bucket of chicken, baby. A whole bucket
original
of
crispy wings.
I like those biscuits, baby.
It's a very productive episode.
Biscuits, baby. Biscuits. Heard you got those famous bowls. Who wants a double down?
Anywho,
I lost it. I don't know. Where
I don't even remember what was happening now.
Give me just
where are we? Did we do the Hitman's Bodyguard's wife?
Oh,
is that what we reviewed?
No.
Okay. No. Okay. So, I don't understand why they didn't resolve the thing with the grandma in the past, or have it be where she invited her and she showed up to be like, she goes, here are the invites, and then she grabs the grandmother's and goes, she never shows up anyway, and rips it up.
Yeah.
What? Why would you? That makes
so
no
why are you
sense.
putting on the envelope, that gets mailed to them? Dad 1, Dad 2.
Yeah.
Grandma. I'm like, what?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, perfect.
Now everyone knows that's your grandma.
But yeah, so it's awkward. But connected to that awkwardness, first off, Cher is a train wreck on this. I think
she's a train wreck. I think she's just like,
her singing is fine.
Her singing's fine. I think she's just phoning it in. I mean, she's just like, feels like she's doing a favor for someone.
Yeah, but she had a lot of fucking pull for that.
She had a lot. Yes.
So I think it's time to talk about Mr. Cienfuegos.
Yes, it's time to. This character was not really going to be in it, right?
Yeah. So originally, there is a
Extra
guy.
Crispy.
Yeah, there's a guy who is helping Amanda Seyfried get the business up and running. Like he's managing all this stuff for the island, and his name is Cienfuegos is his last name. And he's kind of like at first I was like, okay, yeah, I can kind of dig his character. He's like the kind of wise, whatever, almost like Hector Elizondo played in like the
in Pretty Woman,
Princess Diaries, or that too, whatever.
Or Chicago Hope.
Chicago
Hope.
Hector Elizondo always plays
Chicago Hope. Yes, I actually was thinking that too when I was trying to think of his name, and when you just said Hector Elizondo, I went, duh, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
In the Princess Diaries or Chicago Hope.
Yes.
Season 2, not 1. Season 2.
Yeah. So
and 3.
So God damn it, Andy Garcia plays this guy.
It's fine,
and he does fine. He's Andy Garcia. I don't get the appeal, but
of Andy Garcia.
Yeah, a lot of people think he's hot.
No, don't get the appeal.
I've never gotten it, but I know people are always like, "Ooh, Andy Garcia."
He's hairy. That's about it.
I guess really he was prettier when he was younger.
Yeah, but I guess
his beard was fine this time around. He had a nicely trimmed beard. Is that a compliment?
He had a nicely trimmed beard, I guess.
He and Hector Elizondo went to the same school of gravelly speaking.
Right. Yes.
Led by Joe Mantegna.
I think you're beautiful.
Yeah. So
it's me, Fernando.
Yeah. Okay. So the grandma shows up, and they're talking just inane lines with whatever, and then
there's lots of shots with Cher where it looks like you know, like they just filmed that with her. I mean, you could kind of tell.
Yeah.
They were just like, this is the day that we're filming Cher.
Yeah.
Like just on the balcony.
Yes.
Everyone else, it's close set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you almost feel that. Because there's a lot of her reacting. Oh, yeah, go, baby. Those biscuits are great. kind of thing.
I love corn on the cob.
And then she sees Andy Garcia.
Well, no, she goes.
No, Andy Garcia sees her.
She says something about Mr. Cienfuegos to help people. And she goes, Cienfuegos? That's an odd name, babe. And so she goes,
that's an odd name, babe.
So she goes,
Mom, 11 herbs and spice.
Finger looking good. So she goes,
okay, guys, we are terrible at Cher impression. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Fine. It's fine. Sometimes she goes, she's asking about it, and then she goes, she's just like, that's an odd name. And she looks across the way and she goes, yeah, he's over there, and points to him.
Yells
and he goes, Rosie or
Rosie,
Lily or Ruby.
It's the
or
loudest
her name
we've
is.
ever heard Andy Garcia in any movie.
And I've seen at least 3
Andy Garcia movies
of the Ocean's movies.
Correct.
No, she goes, he's like, Ruby? And she goes,
Fernando. And you're like, ugh.
Well, so here's the story.
And here we go. And then they do the Fernando. Hit. And then there's like the biggest fireworks display.
Yeah. Yeah, it's stupid. But so they wanted to put Fernando in the first movie because it's one of their big hits. Like,
right. Why wouldn't you? Right.
Why wouldn't it be in the jukebox musical?
Shakira's in it, so I mean, yeah.
But it's like, it talks about like a South American civil war.
Well,
and so they were like, how are we going to put that in here? And so they just were like, let's just table that one. Mm-hmm. So they put it off. So they wanted to do it here. And they were like, God, how do we make this happen? And so later on, they're like, I got it. We will add we'll add Fernando Cienfuegos, which means 100 fires, by the way. Fernando 100 fires to the thing.
That sounds like a porn star.
So that we can name him, so that we can name him, or so we can have somebody sing Fernando to him. And so it was, then they made it this love story between Cher and him. Now, Cher was like, I want Andy Garcia.
I want Andy Garcia,
he's hot.
baby.
And so that's what she like
I
wanted.
like his biscuits.
I like
buttermilk.
I want to butter his biscuits. so she...
I like his potatoes. The potato wedges, baby.
They don't have them anymore.
They don't have potato wedges?
No, I tried.
Fuck you, KFC. If you're a sponsor of the show, which you're not, because no one is.
You won't be now.
You won't be now.
Finger licking,
whatever.
So I'm
not giving you any more publicity.
I drove up one day on a day off, and I was like, I'm gonna get some potato wedges and, whatever chicken sandwich. And I got up there and I started ordering, and I went, where are the potato wedges? And they're like, well, we just have these regular fries. And I'm like,
fuck you.
God, why?
Who eats regular fries with chicken? Please.
Potato wedges. But nowhere else has them anymore either. And this is besides, everybody's super interested in this. But
I'm more interested in that than the movie.
But Popeyes didn't have them either.
They never did they?
I thought they did.
No.
For a while.
Are they maybe? No,
I don't know. I couldn't find potato wedges anywhere nearby.
Yeah.
And the ones I could get from the nearby grocery store were like cold and like pale looking, so I just passed them over. But
what's our email address? If you know a place out there, folks, that does potato wedges, email us.
It's Cher at fingerlicking.good.
Cher at fingerlicking.
.kfc.gov.
KFC.com, baby.
.gov.
Only during daylight savings time, baby. Turn back.
Okay, so they put Fernando in here.
What?
And then they like go through this whole timeline. So that's his lost love that he has alluded to like 50 times.
That we already knew. We knew.
Yeah,
when you saw Andy Garcia, like even if you didn't read up on it, you're like, oh, this is going to be Cher's love interest.
Yes.
Why? Because it can't be anyone else's.
Well, So Cher's only 3 years older than Meryl Streep and plays her mother.
It's because of that Silkwood dye they had.
Yeah. Andy Garcia is like younger than both of them by a considerable amount. And so if the story was to happen appropriate to where their age is, Andy Garcia would have been 3. Okay. So it made no sense. People were like, one of the complaints on this movie too was that like, not just that like, in the first one there was a lot of like, well, they put non-singers in singing roles.
Yeah.
This one, there's and part of the previous one, there's a lot of like, the ages are way off. Like the casting from age perspective is bizarre. And this one I was like, yeah, this is it's pretty nonsense. And I couldn't like tell for certain. And this is, maybe I just missed the line where they said it or whatever. So I assume that Mr. Cienfuegos is her grandfather. No? Don't know?
No.
I'm looking it up.
I thought maybe they were alluding to that too.
Yeah.
Like he was part of the linear part of the family tree. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But wouldn't it, like, I mean, like Cher's character again is famous. Wouldn't he know that? Wouldn't he know that, like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I guess if she went by a different name.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But I didn't know if he was supposed to be, oh my God, you're actually my grandpa.
Could be.
I mean, it feels like something they would cram in that.
Mm-hmm. They cram everything in this movie.
And then let's talk about, they go to the christening because Amanda Seyfried is pregnant and has her baby, and they parallel it.
She's pregnant, and we thought at the beginning, we're like, well, how did she get pregnant?
Well, when she's talking
Sky away for like,
when she's talking to Sky,
but you thought 6 months, and then I thought so too.
Because he said that he's like in New York at his bank job, and she was like, "Well, you said you would stay there 6 months to help them learn this stuff, or no, at a hotel business."
It was 6 weeks.
Yeah, it was 6 weeks, so
not 6
it's
months.
not that far off.
Yeah,
from
but I'm pregnant, just like my mom was here, and
but I do like. If they had like a montage of both her and her mom like progressing through their pregnancy, like I kind of could like.
Oh, to me, that was I would have got behind that.
Yeah, which they kind of did a little, not much, but like it was that to me would have been a sweeter parallel. But they did have a nice part where like, they have a scene where both of them are bringing the babies for like christening. And that's when Meryl Streep shows up and sings to her kind of this like blessing thing. Which I was like, okay, like this is, I can handle that. Like if Meryl Streep's not gonna be in it, I at least appreciated that she was like, hey, I will do this one number for this like sweet number for whatever. I was okay with that part.
Sure, I agree. They made all those old people climb all those stairs. Yes, I'm just saying, you know. GoldenEye himself was climbing those steps. You know?
Yeah.
Well, it's not the 90s
James
anymore.
Bond and GoldenEye. James Bond in golden years. The
Well, golden butter and biscuits, baby.
So they climb all these steps, and Fernando is with Cher.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, you know, oh, and here's my brother.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
The weirdest line. He's like, you know, have you met my brother? Because Christine Baranski. Well, okay, so
she's the only one that doesn't really have
Julie Walters is always like, I mean, she's supposed to be with Bill.
Yeah.
But she thinks he cheated on her. He's like, no, I didn't. And then like he kind of breaks down and cries because he misses her and like they're kind of together working on it. Christine Baranski's still a free agent, and just gets horny for every guy who walks by her.
She's ready for a good fight.
Yeah. So he's like, have you met my brother? And the guy walks by and is like, hey, blah, 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 says something. And we both went,
wait, is that?
Wait, who is that? is that the most interesting man in the world? And it was.
It was.
It was the guy from the Dos Equis most interesting man in the world commercials.
And if that wasn't hand-fisted.
That was so strange.
It was very strange.
Very.
Because I'm just, I don't know.
Also, his name is Jonathan
But there's also,
Goldsmith.
but that's what I mean, like how like atrociously wonderful this movie is, right? Like there's something charming about it too, even though it's really hand-fisted, and like it's pretty much just showing you it is talking a little bit down to you in a way, but at least it's having fun.
Yeah,
and the movie is having fun. You have to admit that, right? I don't know. Should we do our 5 questions?
Yeah, we probably should.
I think we should.
Yeah, you know. Excuse me. Sorry, my throat's a little sore. I think it was too many Cher and Colonel Sanders impressions. Okay.
It happens.
It happens to the best of us.
That isn't the first time I've heard
that. Okay. What do you think is the best part of this movie?
I've got one word for you.
Yeah.
Share me your ears, because I'm going to tell you Lily James is my favorite part.
Share me your ears.
Yeah, I want you to listen to me. You thought I was going to say share.
No.
Oh,
well,
okay.
yeah, I did, because share me your ears.
Jeremy, share me your ears. All right.
I'm just going to work it into every sentence.
I'm going to work it in. I'm going to hand fist it into everything. Until
it's linguistic.
Like, that's how I felt like this movie was. It was all like, does it work? I don't know. But, like, just pound it in there until it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom, boom, boom. It worked. Perfect. Yeah. Go with it.
But this is like...
Cut, print, boom.
Like, sometimes it worked out okay.
Sometimes it did. Yeah.
Like, and especially with, like, it made sense, like, when they were performing actual songs, or, like, the school stuff was fine, but, like...
Yeah, choreography's not bad in this movie.
But, like, the Fernando thing. The Fernando thing is an example of, like, the stuff that drives me crazy about jukebox musicals, and it's where they set up a line specifically to...
Yeah.
Where she's like, Fernando!
Yeah, to make the song happen.
And it's like...
Instead of the other way around, where it's organically done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all like, let's say if I was going to do a musical about, I don't know, Ben Folds.
I was going to say that. I
was like, well, I'm off to the army. Well, I thought about the army.
Yes, it was. I saw probably the world's most...
You don't have to go through this.
The world's worst jukebox musical. To the point where it was beatboxed through it because they didn't actually have music. And...
She's like a brick. She's a brick in a... I mean, that's
it was
terrible.
So ham-fisted. And, like, at one point, like, the hackneyed writer... said, he was like, they were like, well, what did you do? Well, I did this and this and this. But for a while, I thought about the army.
Well, I thought about the army.
I mean, it was like, oh my God. Like, what a hackneyed, talentless.
But that's what I mean. It's sort of organically coming from.
Yeah.
The location's fine. That's beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
But not...
Well, okay, so this one was filmed in, like, Romania or something like that compared to the other.
Not tremendous. But I really thought Lily James stole the show on this.
Yeah.
Lily James is the one that I would talk about most about this movie. If I were to say, hey, watch this movie because of this girl, I think she's going to be something.
Yeah.
You know, knowing now that she, you know, has landed some roles that are really going to catapult her anyway.
Yeah.
I think she's the best part of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I think the setting is probably my favorite part of this movie.
Like the locale?
Yeah. And I think it's because, like, I don't know, it's just like if this movie was set somewhere else, I don't think it would have the same kind of impact.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it really does feel like... It really does feel like, and they talk about where it was supposed to be, like, mythologically, this, and the island is made up, obviously, but, like, they were like, oh, in myth, it was supposed to be if you, like, went further than this place, you, like, fell off the edge of the world.
Yeah.
And it really does feel like the island is separated from the rest of everything else. Like, there's the outside world, and there's stuff that takes place on the island. And, the stuff that is actually filmed on the island is gorgeous. even the scenes that are supposed to be on the island but are clearly green screened are still beautiful. I think they did where they do like the digital dome around them. Because it had kind of a weird glow to it.
There's some cuts in there where even the start where she's writing on the postcard turns in, or it comes from the scene of like a Mamma Mia, and then it turns into that postcard that she's writing for the invites to there. There's the scene where they're walking in Paris, and then it turns into the painting that's part of the restaurant.
Yeah.
So there's some editing choices that I think are nice in this movie.
Yes.
That keep your eye interested.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That there's just it's like atrocious but wonderful at the same time. You know what I mean?
The island, to me, it feels very magical. Like, I think part of what breathes life.
Yeah, everyone sings ABBA.
Right. I think part of what breathes life into the movie is also the setting part of it. Like, it doesn't work if she's not on this island that is both
right. If she was in New York,
detached from the world,
bullshit. I don't want to see a New York ABBA. Jukebox musical. You know what I mean? I don't need that.
Yeah.
Even if it was set in the 70s, dumb.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't need that.
Yeah, we've seen it too many times.
Yeah.
No, this one, like, I think the setting is my favorite thing because I would sitting there and going, oh, that's so pretty. Like when they were walking around stuff, like I enjoyed it. Do you think this movie stands on its own?
No.
Yeah, not at all.
No, there's so much in it that comes from the first movie. I mean, yes, they're telling you all of the backstory, but why did the mom die?
Yeah.
When did she die? What did she die of? Why are they really arguing? So that, you know what I mean? Why are they building up to that? There's a lot that doesn't leave it up.
Yeah.
On its own.
And honestly, and this is a weird one for me because this one feels like it kicks the legs out from under the first one for me.
It really does.
Like normally it's like at least like I think about like you know like you get a movie where it's like, oh, the first one is pretty well done, and the second one it just leaves you questions or kind of like, okay, well that doesn't like it obviously needs to be propped up, you know, by the first one. This one, like, I think makes me go back and go, wait, what the hell? And like, makes it shakier for the first one. Even.
I think so too.
And so that's why I'm like, okay. And so, yeah, it almost does more harm than good in that regard.
Yeah.
Does this make you want to watch the first one?
No, but it makes me want to listen to ABBA Gold.
Yeah.
It makes me want to listen to ABBA.
Yeah.
Every time I watch these movies, or even Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, it makes me want to get up and sing Waterloo.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Fernando. Like, I'm ABBA, you know.
Yeah.
You know. So it makes me want to listen to ABBA, not watch, you know, the first movie. You?
No, I agree. Same with me too. Like, I honestly like. I feel similarly to this movie, like I did the first one, which is I felt like the first one. There were things about it that I definitely liked, but it was not like a movie where I was like, "Ooh, Mamma Mia," you know, and like freaking out.
I think like, it's mostly supposed to be represented in like a theater for a bunch of people to get up and sing.
Yeah.
Along and dance along.
Yes.
Like that's how you experience these movies.
Yeah.
Including on stage and on the big screen, like a movie party or like a theater party. But if you're not doing that, you're losing some of it. And so because of that, no.
Yeah. Would you reboot, continue, or cancel?
I mean, can I do none of it? I mean, I have to cancel.
Yeah, same.
Cancel because there's no other really good ABBA songs that they've done all of them.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were struggling in this one. I went, this is an ABBA song?
Yeah.
This song about a teacher is about an ABBA song?
Yeah, there you go.
I guess so. I guess I didn't know that one very well. The other ones I did, there was that one that, I don't know, it was about 1/3 of the way in the movie. I knew that one. Where do they break up? I knew that one, and Yeah, but like without bringing the other songs of ABBA that we've already heard in the first 2 movies, there's no reason to have a 3rd movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if I would be like, if you're that determined to do a jukebox musical, do something else. Pick another one. There are so many of them out there. Just pick another one. Whether it's, Green Day or whether it's We Will Rock You or whatever it is.
Green Day is American Idiot.
American Idiot.
So I think they were talking about doing a movie version of that.
Yeah.
But I think pandemic.
Yeah.
A lot of things got postponed because of that. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
But we always got Rock of Ages.
We do.
But yeah, We Will Rock You. That's the Queen one.
They're doing a Queen one?
Oh, it's a play.
That's a play
for a long time.
Whatever.
Yeah. And
again, I was like, should they do a David Bowie one? But then I realized that's just Velvet Goldmine. But it's
pretty much it is Velvet Goldmine.
Do you know what I mean? So I was just like, whatever.
Yeah. Then sum up your experience in 2 words.
Oh, I said them. Atrociously wonderful. There's something about atrociously wonderful.
Yeah.
There's something atrocious about this movie where it's just so done to where it's like, none of this needs to fit here. But then I'm like, well, it does work, but it's just so hand-fisted that I'm rolling my eyes at it. But it is fun to watch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are my 2 words, I think.
Yeah. I think mine would be unnecessary sequel.
Kind of.
If you've made the jukebox musical,
do a
just
prequel.
Leave it what it is. Just leave it. You only need to do the one. There's no reason to make a sequel, a play, or
Also, ABBA is Donna's music.
Yes.
Not her daughter's music.
Yeah.
So maybe we should have updated the music and been like, now, if this is Donna's story, we should have Donna be some other artist.
Yeah.
And if we're doing Flashback, then that's ABBA's music.
Yes.
Right? Then maybe I could have got the difference between...
Yeah, and have it be a collaborative kind of...
Correct.
And then you could do
mashups.
Then you could do a cool mashup.
Right.
Between ABBA and somebody.
I just thought of that.
Yeah.
Finger looking good, baby. Finger looking good, baby. Baby. Well, that concludes this episode of the Deuce Podcast. Where can people find us, Jeremy?
People can find us at thedeucepodcast.podbean.com.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Baby. Oh, yeah. It's just getting worse.
Yes, baby. It gets worse.
They can find us at...
You don't want to hear my Popeyes impression. That's not
Apple.
It's Robin Williams Popeyes.
Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, a lot of those podcatchers.
Not Spotify. We don't
not
want to
Spotify.
Not Joe Rogan's Spotify.
Yeah. You can find us on Twitter at Deuce Podcast, or of course also on Facebook. Make sure you say why you want to join.
Please.
Yeah, it's we get nonsense.
We get nonsense. Yeah.
But yeah, so check us out. We got a lot of episodes out there to enjoy.
Did you say we're on YouTube?
Oh no, I didn't.
We are on YouTube. So check out YouTube and search for the Deuce. Go to channels and then the Deuce Podcast.
Yeah.
And you should find it that way. There
you recognize
big number 2 with
flaming
the flame.
number 2.
Yeah, flaming number 2.
Which is often what's used to describe our show.
Yes. Dirty Dancing Havana Nights has so many hits. Yeah, Godfather, not Godfather, but Rocky 2's got 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't get it, but whatever.
Yeah.
So go on YouTube, find that out. We'll see you next week for another edition of the Deuce Podcast. Until then, the sequel is king.
dance tonight.